What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We're here outside at the end of day 2 of CloudFest USA 2025. I'm here with Brent, Carrie, and Elliot. So I want to take you back. I want to give you a little bit of context, then I'll let these fine people explain kind of what was going on. The first day, day 0, I guess, technically, of CloudFest USA, back on Tuesday, feels like a lifetime ago. We were over at the Marriott Biscayne Bay, all of us, and we were in the room talking about the hackathon. It was a one-day event this time. I've covered the hackathon, the main hackathon over at CloudFest in Germany before. This was just one project. It was the Fair Package Manager project. I'm going to let them explain everything that was going on. But it's a really cool and interesting project with a lot of different pieces moving into it, very technically complex. So a lot of cool stuff going on. And when they came into the day, they were at a very specific point, and then throughout the day, with the help of Elliot and Patchstack team, they were trying to do some extra things regarding security and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm going to kick it to you, Brent. I'm going to hand you this microphone. At the beginning of the day on Tuesday, what was the status of the Fair Package Manager project, and kind of what would you say to just kind of setting the tone there in the beginning?
Okay, so the Fair Package Manager is up and running. It's live. You can install the Fair plugin and update your WordPress website with themes and plugins and all of that. So that's already up and running. And we had scoped out the concept of a labeler where we could apply a label to every package and just to describe different attributes or different, anything we want about a package. And it would work a lot like a tag. So just to put it in context, that's kind of how it would look and work. But the label is assigned by a third party, rather than saying, well, my plugin is about this, this, and this. So these tags. So we had this concept, and it's based around how Blue Sky does labeling for essentially the little blue check mark.
Yep.
So it's uses that concept, but we had yet to build it. So that became the starting point for the hackathon.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. You guys have anything to add there specifically on where we're at? Does that
No, that makes sense to me.
Okay, perfect. So if we're telling this narrative, right, that's the beginning. That's everything, all the work that has been put in prior to Tuesday. So then Tuesday morning rolls around, we set the scene there. Now, there's been a little bit of behind the scenes with Patchstack's involvement in the hackathon directly. So can we lay out what the goal was moving into Tuesday, given that context? I don't know who wants to take care of it.
You go for it, Carrie.
Sure, I'll take it. So the actual project for the hackathon was the Fair Software Security Assistant. And what that was to build on this labeling service that's Brent is describing that we had spec'd out to some degree, but not actually built out. And an incredible opportunity to work with Patchstack. They gave us API access very graciously for the purposes of this project to see how we could get raw vulnerability data from Patchstack and marry it, if you will, with Fair to actually build out this labeling system. And like Brent mentioned, the labeling can be used for other things in addition to security, but we focus specifically on the security piece. You want to comment from there?
Yeah, I mean, Patchstack's the largest CVE provider, would beat Microsoft the amount of CVEs, and we're focused a lot on WordPress. So we've got this database full of vulnerability data. We've got the API, so we opened it up so that it can be used as a labeler. We can pull this data down and basically apply these labels to the specific plugins coming from the Fair project.
Gotcha. Okay. So an ambitious endeavor, I would say, right? A lot going on there specifically, but it is, from the slides and different things that we talked about, I was there for when you were kind of specking it out and kind of talking about it in the morning, right? That's layer 4. So we talked about, like, Brent, you kind of layered out. There's like a bunch of different layers. You want to comment on that real quick? I mean, I know you talked about it a little bit, but specifically the layers and how that applies to this being layer 4 of that, of how it all harmonizes.
Yeah, I'm going to think how we describe the layers, because I think of them more as a more linear than, but either way, it's so essentially the way the Fair package management system works is that we have distributed repositories, so not all of the software packages have to live in the same place. The way we have with .org right now, WordPress.org hosting all of the packages, like all of the themes, all of the plugins, with Fair, we have them distributed so that they can be hosted wherever the plugin developer chooses. So that could be, a GitHub or GitLab or Git or Bitbucket or, wherever they want to put them. And the job of the Fair system is to index those and make them available to users to search for in the WordPress admin panel. And from there, they can just click the install button and it will come directly from its canonical source, wherever it's hosted on GitHub, Lab, T, wherever. And that's essentially how the system works. And then it will do the automated updates as normal, as WordPress users have come to expect. So this fourth layer has to do with describing the package in a way that can build trust. So when you're browsing for plugins, if you happen to see a little tag that says, Patchstack is reporting a critical CVE for this package, well, you might not want to install it just yet. You'd wait for the update so that you know that it's been patched and secure. And that's really the layer that we're building, is this, it's added security and added trust in what you're installing. And these things exist now. You can go to Patchstack and look up the package that you want to see, and just determine whether or not there's a vulnerability and whether or not you want to install what you found over in the other source. But this puts it all together, all in the dashboard, right at the time of install, so that people actually have the information where they need it and when they need it.
Love it. Love that. Okay, so that's a lot of context there. And now to go back to that and layer all that together, it's Tuesday, and we're in the hackathon room, and we're working hard. I mean, you guys were in there all night, basically, right? I mean, till, I don't know, at least, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, something like that.
A bit later, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Eyes were blurry and some slapstick jokes were happening.
So working hard.
We're working slower at the end.
Working hard all day Tuesday, okay? So now that, as we go through that, maybe some of the, high level, I can give a little bit of context. I know there was a couple teams. There's 3 teams. I think there was UI, UX, and then there was Backend, API, and then also kind of policies to tie everything together from the business rules side. So those are the 3 big ones. As you guys all work together, if you guys want to comment on anything from how was the vibe in the room? I'm going to have a whole video on my channel, kind of all about this, everything I learned there. So we'll keep that context aside. But from a project perspective, that day, the hackathon, how did it go? Was there any big blockers? Was there any big hurdles that you guys, had to found throughout the day? And then ultimately, how did it end up? Do you feel like you set out this goal? Did you feel like you accomplished it? Do you feel like you made some headway? What's the overall?
Okay, well, there were a lot of questions there to unpack, so we'll popcorn them out. So in terms of, just to give context to folks that weren't in the room, we kind of went through the purpose of the project, talked about what teams there were, and then gave people about 10 minutes to decide where they wanted to fit in based on their ability to contribute and their skill sets. And so it was and there was moving of tables involved. It was about 10 minutes of mass chaos. And then people settled in to the teams. And there was some movement throughout the day, but for the most part, those teams started working together. And it was, I think first, it was a little bit of, okay, how do we get from this presentation we just heard about where we want to go to how do we actually get down into the trenches and start doing some work. So it took a little while for the engines to start firing. But once they did, it was fantastic. And Alon, our mentor, and Carol, the organizer, also did a great job of kind of every once in a while, tap, tap, tap on the mic. How's everybody doing? Can we get a status check from each group? Are there any blockers? Do we need people from, the Backend team talking to the policy engine team? How can we facilitate the work to keep moving forward?
Yeah, a single day. So it was quite a lot to get done in a whole day.
Yeah.
And yeah, without Carol and Ella, we would have been a bit screwed.
I hear that. They're good at what they do. They keep you on track. Elaine, he knows everything. It seems like it's wild. So great setting the scene there of kind of how it actually, the nuts and bolts of it. How do we feel like it went? Do we feel like we got, again, it's a hackathon, it's a one-day thing. But if you, had a crystal ball in the morning You know, you think, I think we're going to get all this done today. Progress-wise, how do we feel?
I think it was, and I don't mean to talk. We did it. We did it. I mean, we're not here. The goal of the hackathon was not to ship a polished piece of software. It was to flesh out some of the questions that we didn't even know were questions until we started digging into how do we talk to a CVE API? How do we turn that into labels? Okay, how do we build rules that maybe a host or an agency or anybody that's curating their own repository could say, if we get a label that says critical vulnerability, we don't even want to show it in a user's admin, just, but de facto block it. Oh, there's our collaboration.
But also, it's not just the Patchstack data. Like, we did the first labeler for the FAIR project. So you could pull in any type of API and label whatever you want. Which actually could just be colors or whatever. But like, it's a proof of concept that shows you can do this, and we can start sort of like offering it out for other types of labels.
Yeah.
Or even other security providers, like Patchstack's just providing the API, but we made it in an agnostic way, so there wasn't some kind of like exclusivity, just to sort of explore what could be possible.
I love that. So Patchstack was obviously the example here, but could be used for anything else, just to kind of placeholder. I love that. So sounds like it was a success.
I think so, yeah.
Oh yeah, awesome. I do want to kind of give people, kind of want to wrap it and kind of close the loop on this. So for the FAIR project, the FAIR Package Manager project, I'll make sure I have CTAs anywhere we post this, if anybody wants to get involved and everything like that, if you're interested in any of it. But just coming from you guys, what do you need? Like, I mean, this is a project that everybody's working on here. It's an open-ended question. What, people watching, if they're interested in it and they want to maybe like come to the next hackathon or they want to contribute, what do you guys need? Open CTA here.
So, just for context, we had 22 developers in the room, and over, I think, what was a 16-hour day, there was some 300 plus hours concentrated in that sprint. And there are a whole lot more hours, and and as the questions unfolded and all the brains were thinking, there was other things we were thinking that we could build on. So there's still some fleshing out to do of the prototype that we created during the hackathon. But I think there's a lot of other work surrounding that. I don't know if you want to address some of the specific technologies for folks that may say, hey, that's me, I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, just as we were building it out, the value of having so many different people from different perspectives helped us flesh out a number of ways that we could make the whole integration more robust. And we want to keep working with Patchstack on that. So that's one thing. The other thing, I just want minor tweak to we had 22 people in the room. They weren't all developers. And this is to your question. How can you get involved? You don't have to be a developer to get involved, because we had you guys. I think, were you both on the policy engine team?
I was on the back end.
You were on the back end, right?
Yeah.
But Carrie was on the policy engine team, which was largely non-technical people, because they were describing business rules that would be implemented by the technical people. So even if you don't know how to code, and this is a problem with technical projects, is that I'd love to help, but I don't know how. Well, what do you know how to do? Because whatever it is, we have a place for it.
Great call out.
Good to know.
I mean, I can nerd out about the tech that we use on the back end, which I love to do. Yeah. We built it out. I mean, it's a WordPress project, but we built out our API with Laravel. So there's a lot of Laravel involved, and a lot of vibing, making a good use of my friend Claude. We had, even on the day, some technical debt cleanup, which I think is a first for a single day sprint.
Yes.
But yeah, it was good nights, and we use a lot of associate tech, PHP. If anyone in the WordPress world is probably familiar with PHP and Laravel, so it's all open source and available for anyone to contribute to.
Amazing. So if you're literally anyone and you're interested, you don't have to be technical. That's a good thing to know. And if you do know some of those technical skills, definitely reach out. Where can people reach out? Where can people get in touch? Where can people get involved?
Fair.pm is the official website and gateway to sort of all the things, documentation, our GitHub repositories. Chat.fair.pm is a way we're currently using Slack as our communication mechanism. And if anybody just wants to like literally poke their head in and start kind of seeing what conversations are happening, they're more than welcome.
Awesome. Meetings are open.
Yes, our meetings we have 3 weekly calls right now. We have a tech call that's focused specifically on the Fair plugin. We have an Aspire Cloud call that's specifically focused on building out Aspire Cloud. And then we have a general technical steering committee call. And those are all open to anybody. All they need is a openprofile.dev account from the Linux Foundation, and they're welcome to join us.
Amazing. All right, well, there you have it. Links in the description to everything there. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Brent, Carrie, Elliot, thank you guys so much for your time. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for your hard work as well. Yep, absolutely. We'll talk to you guys soon.